For many years, Rayner, one of the world's leading ophthalmic companies, has helped restore sight to millions of people. Indeed, the very name Rayner has become synonymous with quality and excellence. As manufacturer of the world's first intraocular lens and the only British manufacturer of intraocular lenses, Rayner continues to create innovative and unique lens designs at their state-of-the-art manufacturing facility in Hove, East Sussex, England. With advanced IOL designs and modern surgical technique, an exact refractive result following cataract surgery with implantation of an IOL is a reasonable expectation. Indeed, there is often a high patient demand for a near-perfect visual outcome. Rayner is therefore proud to introduce the Sulcoflex range of pseudophakic supplementary IOLs, representing a major new IOL design concept, which has been developed in association with internationally renowned ophthalmologist Professor Michael Ammon from Vienna, Austria. Rayner Sulcoflex IOLs are designed to be implanted in the ciliary sulcus to correct or amend any residual post-operative refractive error following the implantation of a primary conventional IOL within the capsular bag. Implanting Sulcoflex in the ciliary sulcus can be a much easier and safer surgical option than performing an IOL exchange, especially when capsular changes may have firmly fixated the primary implant within the capsular bag. Rayner Sulcoflex IOLs are available in three formats: Sulcoflex Aspheric, Sulcoflex Toric, and Sulcoflex Multifocal, which together offer the ophthalmologist total flexibility for the fine-tuning of the refractive result, or, indeed, for the enhancement of an already acceptable result, leading to greater levels of patient satisfaction. Sulcoflex IOLs are particularly useful for the enhancement of the refractive result following refractive or presbyopic lens exchange, and as such, they represent a viable alternative to post-implantation corneal laser surgery. However, unlike laser surgery, refractive changes following the implantation of Sulcoflex IOLs are reversible. The unique features, benefits, and indications for each of these three formats will be discussed in greater detail later in this video presentation. Unlike conventional piggyback IOLs, the unique design of Sulcoflex Pseudophakic supplementary IOLs, incorporating a posterior concave surface, minimizes the possibility of any physical contact between the two IOLs. This reduces the likelihood of unwanted photopic effects, or induced refractive error leading to hyperopic defocus, due to there being no optic surface distortion at the optical zone of both IOLs. Here we see diagrams which clearly demonstrate how the unique configuration of Sulcoflex helps reduce physical contact. And here we see diagrams showing hyperopic defocus from rays entering the eye and passing through the flattened and distorted point of contact between a conventional piggyback IOL and the primary lens. These Scheimpflug images confirm a good separation of Sulcoflex from the primary implant and also excellent alignment of the two lenses. Similarly, the piggyback implantation of a second conventional biconvex IOL, if implanted in the capsular bag, can be associated with interlenticular membranes, pearls, and pigment. Implanting Sulcoflex pseudophakic supplementary IOLs in the sulcus ensures that the occurrence of any such unwanted complication is precluded. Sulcoflex pseudophakic supplementary IOLs also incorporate several other design features, which significantly contribute to refractive performance. With a 6.5 mm optic diameter, visual outcomes are optimized, and the risk of optic iris capture is reduced. Similarly, having a larger optic diameter combined with a round optic edge ensures that the incidence of edge glare and associated dysphotopsia is minimal. Sulcoflex pseudophakic supplementary IOLs are optimally designed for ciliary sulcus placement, and the unique undulating haptic design ensures excellent centration and rotational stability. A further disadvantage of piggyback implantations with conventional IOL designs is the high risk of uveal contact and abrasion, in some cases causing pigment dispersion syndrome or PDS. Sulcoflex Pseudophakic supplementary IOLs have a 10-degree posterior haptic angulation, which ensures good uveal clearance, thereby minimizing any risk of PDS. And, coupled with the larger optic diameter, the risk of optic iris capture is further minimized. A major consideration when designing an IOL specifically for ciliary sulcus placement is to ensure that the design, particularly of the haptic, plus the choice of biomaterial, are commensurate with being in close contact with the vascularized uveal tissue. Sulcoflex IOLs are manufactured from the hydrophilic acrylic copolymer Rayacryl, which is associated with exceptional uveal biocompatibility. Rayacryl is also characterized by superb optical clarity, and, unlike some hydrophobic acrylics, is not associated with vacuoles or glistenings, and the haptic design features soft round edges to minimize unwanted tissue reaction. A further major advantage of Rayacryl is that, unlike some hydrophobic acrylic materials, Rayacryl is non-bioadhesive, which means that Sulcoflex IOLs do not adhere to adjacent anatomical structures within the eye, or indeed to the primary implant itself. With silicone and with hydrophobic acrylic IOLs, silicone oil-induced opacification during VR surgery can be a major problem. However, this is not the case with Sulcoflex. As Rayacryl has a well-documented low affinity for silicone oil-induced opacification with any Rayner IOL is not a complication, an invaluable benefit for patients having a coexisting or a predisposition to vitreoretinal disease. Indeed, Sulcoflex IOLs can be an invaluable aid for correcting any refractive changes in pseudophakic patients having had VR surgery with silicone oil. Now for a closer look at each of the three Sulcoflex formats. Firstly, the Sulcoflex Aspheric IOL. Rayner Sulcoflex Aspheric IOLs are indicated for the correction of any unwanted residual pseudophakic ametropia, including the resolution of postoperative myopic or hyperopic refractive surprises, and for optimum optical performance with reduced loss of contrast sensitivity and increased functional visual acuity. Rayner's aberration-neutral aspheric optic technology is incorporated as standard, and with an excellent dioptric range and the option of primary implantation in cases of excessive ametropia, Sulcoflex Aspheric IOLs offer an effective and cost-advantageous alternative. Secondly, the Sulcoflex Toric. Rayner Sulcoflex Toric IOLs are indicated for the correction of any residual pseudophakic corneal astigmatism. As discussed earlier, the implantation of Sulcoflex Toric IOLs offers a precise and reliable alternative to post-implantation corneal laser surgery, and is available in an excellent range of sphere-cylinder combinations. And the unique undulating haptic design ensures rotational stability leading to precise toric corrections. Sulcoflex Toric IOLs are also useful for primary or secondary toric corrections after keratoplasty. And finally, the Sulcoflex Multifocal. Rayner Sulcoflex Multifocal IOLs are indicated for the correction of pseudophakic presbyopia for those eyes having a primary monofocal IOL. This significantly reduces the need for additional near correction by the use of spectacles or contact lenses. Based on Rayner's refractive aspheric optic technology, near vision is achieved by the addition of plus 3.5 diopters at the IOL plane in a distant dominant format. With its carefully calculated combination of refractive power and aspheric design, Sulcoflex multifocal IOLs are associated with excellent visual outcomes, with a remarkably low incidence of halos and glare, and, compared with conventional diffractive multifocal IOLs, significantly less loss of contrast sensitivity. Other indications for the Sulcoflex range include the ongoing correction of refractive changes following pediatric IOL implantation, the enhancement of refractive outcomes following cataract surgery with monovision, or the correction of refractive changes for patients with keratoconus. Patients with dysphotopsia may also benefit from this IOL concept. Sulcoflex IOLs are implanted using the Rayner single-use soft-tipped injector, which is designed for the safe and effective implantation of all Rayner injectable IOLs. Implantation is both easy and controlled via a sub-3 mm incision size. The soft blue plunger tip, which is manufactured from a thermoplastic elastomer and is molecularly bonded to the plunger shaft, completely fills the lumen of the nozzle, providing a soft, protective interface with the lens. Loading is facilitated by the loading bay having an extended lip. In order to ensure correct orientation in the eye, the lens is centrally positioned within the loading bay in a reverse S configuration. The round cross-sectioned nozzle has a parallel-sided tip to suit individual surgical technique and to help prevent stretching the wound, and implantation is by a single-handed continuous smooth movement without the need to retract the plunger during injection. We will now see an actual implantation of the Sulcoflex Pseudophakic Supplementary IOL using the Rayner single-use soft-tipped injector. First of all, a suitable viscoelastic, or OVD, is sparingly applied to the injector loading bay to lubricate and facilitate the injection process. The injector nozzle is also filled with a viscoelastic. Now we see the lens being lifted from the blister pack by a pair of non-serrated forceps, such as Kellman-McPherson's. In order to ensure correct orientation in the eye, the lens is centrally positioned within the loading bay in a reverse S configuration. Firstly, the edge of the lens is placed beneath the extended lip of the fixed wing of the loading bay, and the opposite edge of the optic is then positioned, taking care to ensure that the haptics are not trapped within the injector wings. If preferred, this may be facilitated by gently depressing the optic to ensure that no part of the IOL is trapped before finally closing the wings and the lens advanced with a slow, continuous and controlled movement of the plunger into the nozzle ready for implantation. Note how the lens moves easily and progressively without any undue resistance. As the lens slowly emerges from the injector tip, the leading haptic gently unfurls into the eye, followed by the symmetrical unfolding of the optic body and the trailing haptic. Should a direct sulcus implantation not be achieved, the trailing haptic can be easily positioned by means of a suitable second instrument. And here we see the lens finally being positioned in the ciliary sulcus. This is an implantation of the Sulcoflex Pseudophakic Supplementary Toric IOL for the correction of residual corneal astigmatism. Note that the pen marks on the eye represent the axis of highest corneal power. The IOL axis of lowest power is indicated by two diametrically opposed marks on the optic periphery. The IOL axis of lowest power is intraoperatively aligned with the corneal axis of highest power. Note the ease with which the lens is rotated into position. And finally, here we see the implantation of the Sulcoflex Pseudophakic Supplementary Multifocal IOL for the correction of pseudophakic presbyopia. Note the easy and controlled way in which the lens is expressed from the injector and the gentle unfurling of the leading haptic as it enters the ciliary sulcus. In this surgery, a second instrument is used to carefully position the trailing haptic. Sulcoflex Pseudophakic Supplementary IOLs are characterized by their ease of implantation, and their excellent centration and stability can be clearly observed in this surgical footage. Rayner Sulcoflex Pseudophakic Supplementary IOLs are available in a comprehensive range of dioptric powers, with the option of customized IOLs being available to order. They are supplied in 0.9% saline solution in a pouched blister pack, sterilized by moist heat and presented in a convenient ready-to-use lens injection system pack, containing one Sulcoflex Pseudophakic Supplementary IOL and one Rayner single-use soft-tipped injector. In a recent pilot study entitled Sulcoflex, a new IOL for implantation in the pseudophakic eye, Indications and First Results, by Amon et al. From Vienna, Austria, the following results and conclusions were achieved. All IOLs were injected through a 3 mm clear corneal incision, and at follow-ups, uncorrected and best-corrected visual acuities, together with intraocular pressures, were assessed. Inflammation was measured with a laser flare cell meter, and the position and rotation of each IOL were also assessed at the control visits. There were no intra- or postoperative complications, and emetropia was achieved in most cases. Flare values were comparable to the values measured after standard cataract procedures, and all IOLs remained in a stable position. The authors concluded that Rayner Sulcoflex IOLs are well tolerated within the eye and can be used at the same time as the primary implant or as a secondary implant. Other studies have corroborated the above conclusions and have also demonstrated the effectiveness and value of Rayner Sulcoflex IOLs. So finally, Sulcoflex IOLs are associated with superb results, safe and easy surgery, and with less trauma than IOL exchange. Postoperative refractions are stable with good predictability. Rotational stability is excellent, ensuring good toric outcomes with the Sulcoflex Toric IOL, and no postoperative complications were observed. Rayner is committed to the constant development of new technologies and product innovations, and continuously endeavours to meet customers' needs and wants. Furthermore, Rayner's continuous research and development into the key areas of materials technology and lens insertion methodology will ensure that the company will remain at the leading edge for many more years to come. Great British products, renewing sight for millions of people.